Hello there. What's going on, everybody? We've got some big news to talk about. We're getting 3 more Star Wars movies. We always knew we were getting a lot more Star Wars movies, but we now have release dates. And it turns out it's going to be a little bit of a wait. So I'm going to talk about these. If you are new here, I am giving away a couple of Star Wars Black Series figures, the Celebration exclusive Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. That's going to be announced at the end of May. So all you have to do to enter that giveaway is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Also, if you're new here, I invite you to subscribe. I do a lot of Star Wars tabletop gaming, Star Wars X-Wing, Armada, Star Wars Legion, a lot of Star Wars news, and just board games in general. I cover all of that. So let's go ahead and talk about these movies. So we're going to have 3 more Star Wars movies. We're going to have to wait until 2022 for the first one, December of 2022, which means we're going to be waiting 3 years after Episode 9. And then after that, they're going to be 2 years apart. So long gone are the days of getting a Star Wars movie every year. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments below. I have mixed emotions about it. I personally tend to associate Star Wars with Christmas a little bit, so not having a Star Wars movie show up, in December is going to feel a little bit different. I feel like, the war on Christmas is in full effect by not having Star Wars directly associated with it, so I'm going to have to find some other way to console myself. On a serious note, in between those years, they're going to be having new Avatar movies, which is like maybe a surprise for some people. People are like, really? They're making more Avatar movies? A whole nother trilogy for Avatar movies? Now, I'll be honest with you. I absolutely loved Avatar. Maybe it was because it was ahead of its time. At the time that Avatar came out in the theater, I saw it multiple times and absolutely loved it. But what I loved about it was the 3D. It was a technological masterpiece. And I think if they can recreate that, if they can really do that again, I'm all for having the Avatar movies be something different for, maybe they'll be in a snowy world and it'll feel like Christmas, or maybe they'll have spaceships this time around and it'll be a way for you to kind of get your Star Wars fix or your sci-fi fix in December in between these movies. But the other thing I think we need to talk about is the 3-year gap in between Episode 9 and whatever these next movies are. Because that's a little bit of a wait. Now, I know originally they were talking about they wanted to take a hiatus after Episode 9, and that's fine. Take the hiatus, let's get a little bit of a break, let's kind of let people cool off from constant, nonstop Star Wars movies. I think that's smart. I mean, we've always had that in the past, right? After the original trilogy, we had a huge break until the prequels, and after the prequels, we had a huge break until, the news with Disney, and then Episode 7. It kind of gives each generation their chance to have their own Star Wars. And I would almost make the argument that 3 years isn't really enough of a gap. Like, maybe you should have like a 9-year gap. And this way, like, the kids that are born today will be, the babies that are born today will be, kids who are experiencing that. Like, I think there's going to be a lot of overlap with kids who have experienced the sequel trilogy and also the kids who experience whatever comes after. They're still going to be experiencing that in their relative childhoods. So I don't really feel like this is enough of a gap if that's what they're going for. I do expect that this next trilogy will not be with the Skywalker. It's definitely not going to be episodes 10, 11, and 12. Although I did think they kind of said they wanted to leave the door open, like technically if they really wanted to do 10, 11, and 12 someday they could. I don't see that happening. Of course, I think we'll have to really see Episode 9 before we can make that judgment call. But everything's pointing to them wanting to be done with the Skywalker saga right now. And I think that makes sense. I have no problem going forward. And like I've said in my Skywalker prediction video, I do think Rise of Skywalker is talking about an order of Jedi, called like a new type of Jedi that will be called a Skywalker Order of Jedi. So any future stories they tell can still honor the Skywalker trilogy, in spirit, by having them be a new type of Jedi that aren't bound by the exact same restrictions. So they can always still honor the Skywalker saga without having to tell stories about the Skywalker bloodline. And I think that's one way to do that. However, I think these new 3 movies are probably going to be something else altogether. They have hinted at Old Republic. Kathleen Kennedy has talked about wanting to, do something to look at with the Old Republic. I don't know if that's, too far out for it to be this movie that's going to be coming out in 2022. But then again, it's far enough out that they could still be in the theoretical phase. They still could be writing scripts. Probably have not even started all of their casting yet, let alone principal photography. So 2022 is still a ways out. And it's nice to see them give themselves that kind of a timeline. Gives them a little more time to maybe do a quality product. And I think that there's a lot to be said for that. I have a feeling that this will be the Rian Johnson trilogy, though. Of course, they haven't even said that this is going to be a concrete trilogy. This might be 3 standalone films, but I think it will be a trilogy. People kind of want to see cohesive stories, and I hope that they're building towards some type of, bigger cinematic universe. I hope that they're taking the different characters that we've seen in a lot of different Star Wars media and building to a point where they can have a lot of them show up and team up, kind of like a Star Wars Avengers almost. Like, I would love to see new characters from this trilogy eventually team up with maybe someone like Finn, and then maybe someone like an old Ezra or old Thrawn or something like that. At some point, I would like, of course I want it to make sense, but I would like for them to eventually build towards having a lot of familiar characters, like a dream team, so to speak, maybe a Dr. Aphra and Ezra, or things like that. Characters from different stories eventually team up together. I don't know if this new 3 movies will do that. These new 3 movies are going to be kind of a gamble because it's going to be their first kind of foray into making Star Wars movies that are not connected with the Skywalker saga. Granted, you could make the argument that Rogue One wasn't, but it still was. It was right smack in the middle of everything that was going on. And it was basically, the day before Episode 4, which was definitely the Skywalker saga. So, they're going to be making stuff that's very detached from everything we've seen before. So, I think that's a little bit of a gamble. And I think good, if you don't gamble, you don't get, great things. So I'm excited about that. And it's not like we're not going to have anything to hold us over for 3 years also, because Disney Plus is launching. So in addition to Episode 9 and the aftermath, we're going to have books. We're going to have comic books. We're going to have new games coming out. And again, games are a great way for them to tell stories. Jedi Fallen Order looks like it's got potential. I'm not completely sold on it, but I'll definitely be checking it out. But in addition to that, look what else we've got. We've got The Mandalorian coming. We've got a Cassian Andor show coming. We've got the Clone Wars coming back. We have also Star Wars Resistance. That's 4 things right there. Depending on the success of Disney Plus and how many people sign up to watch stuff like The Mandalorian, they could immediately start signing up more Star Wars shows. Depending on, are more people watching Resistance and are there more people watching Star Wars for kids, or are there more people watching Star Wars for grown-ups? Because that's kind of the difference between Resistance and The Mandalorian, right? So all of those things are going to feed into what they do next, and those things, in theory, will be out before December 2022. So we're going to have a lot of stuff to hold us over. So it means, for future Star Wars celebrations, if they go back to doing celebration every year or every couple of years, depending on how they do that, there's still going to be plenty of stuff for them to be talking about, plenty of new products and new media to promote. And I'm fine with not having Star Wars in the movie theater for a little bit. There's still all this stuff all these shelved projects, the Obi-Wan Kenobi project that's now rumored to be like a mini-series for Disney Plus. There's still a whole lot of stuff out there that they can talk about, a whole lot of stuff that we can watch. Disney Plus is going to be a great option. Episode 9 will still be in theaters theoretically in 2020, because again, if it comes out in December 2019, it's still going to be in theaters through January 2020. So we'll really have all of 2020, or 90% of 2020, and then all of 2021 until we're finally in the final year where another Star Wars movie. So it might, they don't have that much that they have to fill in. Like, we're not going to be completely starved for new Star Wars. We're just going to be starved for a new Star Wars movie. But honestly, it looks to me like things like The Mandalorian are with such high production quality that it's definitely going to fill in those gaps. So that's what I think. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know down in the comments below what you think. I'm kind of excited to see some non-Skywalker stuff. Old Republic. Let me know if you were hoping for it to be Old Republic, or do you want it to be like out, Beyond the Outer Rim. Maybe something with Thrawn and Ezra, or maybe something with altogether new characters and a totally new storyline, stuff we've never even seen or heard of before that just happens to be in the Star Wars. Like, so far-fetched that everything is going to be new. But if they take it that far-fetched, is it even Star Wars? That's a delicate balance to strike. But I would love to hear what you guys think. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave a comment to enter to win the giveaway. The giveaway is running through till the end of May. I typically announce winners at the end of my videos, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And I want to give a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon. Look for a new giveaway on there by the end of the day, so look for that as well. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.